All right, so you have finished completing the trial experiment, going over growth and decay with flipping coins. So you should have both of these tables and graphs filled out with your specific data from your experiment. What we're going to do is trying to create an equation to represent both the growth, flipping of coins, and the decay side of the experiment as well. In order to do this, we first got to learn how to write an equation for exponential growth and decay. Go ahead and flip to the back side of your paper where we're going to go over example 1. My very first step, I have all of these pieces of data in this table that from my example experiment of flipping coins. And the first thing we're going to do is divide each trial by its previous trial. So the first two, I have 3 and 2. I'm going to take 3 divided by 2, which equals 1.5. Then I'm going to take 7 and 3. I'm going to take 7 divided by 3, which is 2.3. I'm going to continue on doing this. 12 divided by 7, which is 1.7. 24 divided by 12, which is exactly 2. And my last two trials down here, 46 divided by 24. If I plug that into a calculator, I'm going to get 1.9. So this is essentially the growth each step of my trial, what I'm growing by and what I'm multiplying by each step in my trials. So then if I want to find the average of all the growth, I got to add all these numbers up. So 1.5 plus 2.3 plus 1.7 plus 2 plus 1.9, which equals 9.4 as my total. And I'm going to divide that by the number of growths I have, which is 5. So 9.4 divided by 5 is 1.88. Pretty close to doubling almost every single time, almost times 2 every single time. So my growth factor here is 1.88, and that's going to be an important part of our equation. So now I'm going to focus on actually writing an equation. All right, so we have our growth factors, which is essentially our average growth. I'm multiplying times 1.88 almost every single trial, or at least I'm increasing on an average of that amount. In this equation for exponential growth, we always have this form y equals a times b to the x. Go ahead and label so you remind yourself that a is my initial amount and b is my growth factor. So then if I were to write an equation for this situation, my first table, I'm going to write y equals, and then my initial amount is that initial amount of coins that I very first started with. And if we go back to my original first trial, my initial amount of coins is 2. So I'm going to write y equals 2 as my A. My growth factor is what I figured out. My growth factor is at 1.88. So 2 times 1.88 to the x power. This is my equation for my exponential growth of my trial. What I'm asking you to do for the rest of this paper is go and look at your first trial of the growth and figure out an equation for your exponential growth. And then look at your second experiment with the decay where you were losing coins and create an equation for both of those to finish this assignment.